After my car accident put me in the hospital, my family group chat lit up with photos from my sister's spa weekend. Not a single person showed up. Days later, still wearing my hospital gown, I opened my phone to a flood of missed calls and a message from my dad. Call us back now, it's serious. So I did. Hey Reddit, longtime lurker, first time poster. This happened over the past year, and I'm finally ready to share the whole story. Buckle up because this is a wild ride that involves family betrayal, financial manipulation, and the sweetest revenge I've ever witnessed. I 28 male, work live in North Carolina, make around $85,000 plus bonuses, own my house outright, drive a decent pickup truck that's paid off. Nothing fancy, but I'm comfortable and have been smart with money. This matters because my family saw me as their personal bank account with legs. Growing up, we were broke as dirt. Dad Mike worked random construction jobs when he felt like showing up. Mom Linda cleaned office buildings at night and worked retail during the day just to keep the lights on. My sister Jessica is 25 and genuinely believes that taking selfies and posting workout videos constitutes a legitimate career path. I was the smart kid who got out through pure determination. Got a partial scholarship to Arizona State University, worked 2 jobs throughout college to pay for everything else. Graduated with a business degree and 0 debt. Been climbing the corporate ladder ever since. The family always acted proud of my success, but looking back, I realized they just saw dollar signs walking around in work boots. 3 years ago, Jessica moved to Phoenix to be closer to family, which really meant closer to my wallet and the lifestyle it could provide. She's one of those wannabe social media influencers who posts workout videos and lifestyle content to her modest following. Has maybe 5,000 followers, but acts like she's the next big fitness guru. Lives in a fancy $1,600 per month apartment in Scottsdale, drives a leased white Jeep Wrangler, gets her nails done twice a week at some upscale salon. How does she afford this lifestyle on her sporadic income from sponsored posts and part-time retail work? 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count. It started innocent enough, like these things always do. Can you cover my rent this month? I'll pay you back as soon as my sponsor payment comes through. The sponsor payment never materialized, but another financial crisis always did. Car payment, insurance premium, medical bills, some dramatic emergency that required immediate cash injection. I kept saying yes because I had the money, and she's family, right? The exact same pattern developed with my parents. Dad's truck would break down right before Christmas. Suddenly, I'm covering $1,200 in repair bills. Mom would need dental work. There goes another $800 out of my savings. They never asked directly, just mentioned their financial problems during family dinners, until I felt obligated to offer help like some kind of trained SEAL. Looking back, I realized I was being systematically manipulated, but at the time I thought I was being a good son and brother. Really, I was just enabling 3 grown adults to avoid taking responsibility for their financial decisions. The accident that changed everything happened on a Thursday in March. I'd been on a construction site all day dealing with permit issues and contractor delays that were threatening our project timeline. Traffic was backed up on Interstate 10. Nothing unusual for Phoenix during rush hour. I was sitting at this problematic intersection near my neighborhood, thinking about whether to grab takeout food or just heat up leftover pizza at home. Next thing I know, some complete idiot in a lifted Ford truck runs the red light doing probably 50 miles per hour. T-boned my Silverado so hard, it rolled 3 complete times before landing on the passenger side against a concrete barrier. I remember the sound vividly, not screeching brakes or car horns, just this awful metallic crunch of steel folding like paper. When everything finally stopped spinning, I was pinned against the driver's door, blood running down my face from a deep gash on my forehead. Glass fragments were embedded everywhere, and I had this persistent metallic taste of blood in my mouth. Some good Samaritan crawled through the shattered windshield to check on me before the fire department and paramedics arrived on scene. The paramedics kept saying I was incredibly lucky. Dislocated left shoulder, 2 broken ribs on my right side, mild concussion, plus numerous cuts and bruises covering most of my body. Could have been exponentially worse if the truck had hit 6 inches closer to my door, potentially crushing me completely. They kept me in the hospital for observation because of the head injury. Standard procedure for concussion cases, the doctor explained. I figured someone from my family would call or visit once word got out. I mean, when your family member is hospitalized after a serious car accident, people show up to check on them, right? I was completely wrong about that assumption. I'm stuck in this sterile hospital bed, left shoulder completely immobilized in a complex sling system, ribs wrapped so tightly that every breath feels like someone jabbing a knife between my bones. The nurses were genuinely great, This older lady with kind eyes kept checking on me every few hours, making sure my pain medication was adequately managing the discomfort. But despite their professional care, that room felt like a tomb. My phone sat untouched on the bedside table for 2 complete days. I kept staring at the black screen, waiting for it to buzz with incoming calls or light up with text notifications, waiting for someone to notice I hadn't responded to their latest financial crisis or replied to whatever family drama was currently unfolding in our group chat. Finally, on the second night when the pain medication made sleeping impossible, I grabbed my phone with my functional right arm. The screen showed 29 unread messages in the family chat. For maybe 3 or 4 seconds, I actually got excited. Maybe they knew about the accident. Maybe they were worried sick about my condition. I was genuinely looking forward to reading their concerned messages and feeling that family connection. First message, Jessica posting a selfie in a pristine white spa robe, enormous smile plastered across her face. Caption reading, treating myself today, self-care Sunday. I scrolled down with growing disbelief. More spa photos followed in rapid succession. Jessica getting a hot stone massage with perfectly arranged stones across her back. Jessica lounging in a cedar sauna, looking completely relaxed and pampered. Jessica getting some elaborate pedicure with rose petals, floating artistically in the foot bath water. Post after post of my sister living her absolute best life at some luxury resort while I was hooked up to heart monitors and IV drips. The comments from my parents made everything infinitely worse. Mom gushing over every single photo. You deserve this, sweetie. So proud of my beautiful daughter. Enjoy every second, honey. You work so hard. Dad dropping enthusiastic thumbs up emojis on everything like some kind of social media cheerleader. Not one single person asked where I was or why I wasn't participating in the conversation. Not one haven't heard from Andrew today or why isn't he answering his phone? Just 29 messages of Jessica flaunting her spa weekend that I had definitely funded indirectly through my financial support. I kept scrolling through the messages, getting progressively more upset with each new photo. Here's my sister posting videos of elaborate fruit platters and expensive organic smoothies, while I'm choking down hospital food and wondering if anyone in my family gives a single care that I almost died in a car accident. Then curiosity made me check my credit card application on my phone. Sure enough, multiple charges from some luxury spa resort totaling over $750. See, about a year ago, Jessica had asked to use one of my credit cards, just for real emergencies and important situations. Said her credit score was completely destroyed, and she needed something reliable for backup purposes. Being the naive big brother, I agreed, and basically forgot the card existed. Turns out her definition of emergency was a $750 spa weekend, complete with massage therapy, facial treatments, room service, and premium relaxation packages. All charged to my account while I was unconscious in the emergency room having my injuries assessed. That's when the horrible reality hit me like another collision. This wasn't just family neglect or poor communication. This was predatory financial behavior. My sister was literally spending my money to pamper herself while I was hospitalized, and my parents were enthusiastically celebrating her self-indulgence. I started doing serious mental calculations. How much money had I actually given them over the past few years? Jessica's rent assistance, $300 here, $500 there, sometimes the complete $1,600 when she was between brand deals or transitioning to new opportunities. Car payments, insurance premiums, credit card minimum payments, random emergencies that somehow always required immediate cash. The number had to be approaching $20,000 just in the previous 12 months. Add in mom's medical copays, dad's truck maintenance and repairs, Jessica's lifestyle funding for everything from gym memberships to streaming services. I was essentially bankrolling their entire existence while working 50-hour weeks and living modestly in my paid-off house. And when I genuinely needed them, when I was alone and hurt and scared in a hospital bed, fighting pain and wondering about my recovery, they were posting spa selfies funded by my credit card and celebrating each other's good fortune. 3 complete days in that sterile place. 3 days of nurses asking if family members were planning to visit. 3 days of watching my relatives live carefree lives through social media while I stared at ceiling tiles and tried not to move wrong and aggravate my broken ribs. That's when I made the decision that everything was about to change dramatically. They released me on Sunday with discharge instructions that filled 2 complete pages. No driving for 10 full days, no lifting anything heavier than 5 pounds, take prescribed medications every 6 hours without fail. Return immediately if you experience dizziness or nausea. Standard post-concussion protocol designed to prevent further complications. I called a rideshare service because, shock of all shocks, nobody from my family had offered to pick me up from the hospital. The driver was this soft-spoken, middle-aged guy who immediately noticed me struggling to get into his car while wearing a hospital gown underneath my jacket. He asked if I needed assistance with the seatbelt and helped me adjust the seat position. A complete stranger showed me more genuine concern and practical help than my own blood relatives. Getting home and settled was brutally difficult. Couldn't shower normally because of the shoulder immobilization, so I had to sit awkwardly in my bathtub and rinse off carefully with the handheld sprayer. Spent the rest of Sunday collapsed on my living room couch, still wearing that scratchy hospital gown because changing clothes felt virtually impossible with my limited mobility. Monday morning, I finally turned my phone's ringer back on after days of silence. The screen immediately showed 52 missed calls and 15 urgent text messages, all received during the past 48 hours while I was recovering. Dad, call us immediately. Something's seriously wrong with all the accounts. Jessica, why isn't my card working? This is an emergency. Call me now. Mom, honey, please call. There's some major problem with my bank account. I decided to call Dad first since his message sounded the most frantic. He answered before the phone finished its first ring cycle. Thank goodness you finally called. Where have you been? We've been desperately trying to reach you for days. I was in the hospital, I said as calmly as possible. Hospital? What are you talking about? What happened to you? So I explained everything in detail. The car accident, the 3 days of medical observation, the broken ribs and concussion, the complete lack of contact from anyone in the family. His response absolutely floored me. Well, why didn't you call and tell us about the accident? Why didn't I call them? Like it was somehow my responsibility to interrupt their spa celebrations to mention that their son and brother had nearly died in a car crash. I figured someone might wonder why I suddenly went completely silent for 3 days, I said. Apparently, I was wrong about that assumption. That's when he abruptly switched topics to their current financial crisis. While I was unconscious and recovering, several of their automatic payments had failed to process. Over the years, I'd helped establish various accounts and backup payment methods for all of them to temporarily assist with their financial management. Jessica's rent was automatically drafted from one of my checking accounts. Mom's phone bill was charged to my primary credit card. Dad's truck payment was electronically transferred through my bank account. When I missed monitoring and managing my finances for several days, because I was literally in a medical coma, the bank's sophisticated fraud protection systems activated and froze suspicious activity patterns. Their comfortable little financial ecosystem crashed completely without its primary foundation. We desperately need you to call the bank and straighten this entire mess out, Dad said with obvious panic in his voice. Jessica's landlord is sending eviction notices, and your mom's phone service got completely suspended. Actually, I said, letting the words hang in the air, I think I'll leave everything frozen exactly as it is right now. Extended silence. Then, what exactly do you mean by that? I mean, I'm completely done funding everyone else's lifestyle choices. Time for all of you to figure things out for yourselves. I hung up without waiting for his response. That evening, I did something I should have done years earlier. I methodically pulled up every account, every automatic payment, every subscription somehow connected to my money and financial resources, created a detailed spreadsheet with precise dollar amounts. Jessica's monthly rent, $1,600. Automatically withdrawn from my checking. Jessica's car payment, $340 monthly. Jessica's car insurance premium, $130 monthly. Jessica's phone bill, $75 monthly. Jessica's gym membership and streaming services, $45 monthly mom's phone service, $70 monthly mom's credit card minimum payment, $180 monthly dad's truck payment, $390 monthly plus, constant. Emergency requests averaging $400 monthly for various crises. Grand total, $3,330 every single month. Almost $40,000 per year supporting 3 completely able-bodied adults who could theoretically support themselves. And what did I receive in return for this massive financial investment? Spa photos posted while I was hospitalized with serious injuries. Time to end this parasitic relationship permanently. Tuesday night, I methodically dismantled their entire financial safety net with the precision of a demolition expert. Called every bank, canceled every auto payment, removed my name from every shared account, changed passwords, updated security questions, revoked access to everything they'd grown dependent on. Jessica's rent autopay system? Immediately canceled. Car payment automatic transfer? Canceled. Insurance premium auto draft? Canceled. Phone service billing? Canceled. Everything. Complete scorched earth financial approach. Modern banking technology processes changes incredibly fast. By Wednesday morning, their comfortable world started collapsing like a house of cards. First text message arrived at exactly 7:18 a.m. Jessica, typing in all capital letters, "What did you do? My card isn't working anywhere." Then another message 5 minutes later, "Andrew, this isn't funny. My car payment bounced and I'm getting calls." Then, "Call me right now. This is completely insane." I ignored every single message and call. Mom's text arrived around lunchtime. "Sweetie, my phone service stopped working. Can you please call them?" "Thanks, honey." Still treating me like her personal customer service representative. By evening, the desperate phone calls started flooding in. Jessica called 12 times in rapid succession. I watched every single call go directly to voicemail. Then she started recruiting her friends to call me on her behalf. Those calls went to voicemail too. Dad attempted the reasonable authority figure approach. "Son, we need to discuss this situation. Call me when you're ready to act like a mature adult." Adult. Like silently funding their lifestyle choices for years, while they ignored me bleeding in a hospital was mature behavior, but stopping their money supply was somehow childish. The voicemail messages were absolutely entertaining. Jessica's first message was completely confused. "I don't understand what's happening. None of my payment methods are working anywhere." Second message showed clear irritation. "This is completely ridiculous. You can't just cut me off without any warning." Third message was pure desperation and panic. "Andrew, please, I honestly don't know what to do. My rent is due tomorrow and I have exactly $40 in my checking account." $40. My sister, who constantly posts about expensive smoothies and designer workout clothes, had exactly $40 to her name without my financial support. Mom's voicemail messages followed a predictable pattern. Started sweet and manipulative. "Honey, I know you're upset about something, but we can definitely work through this together." Got progressively sharper. "I don't understand why you're doing this, but it needs to stop immediately." Ended completely desperate. "Please call me back. I can't afford my prescription medications without help." Dad's messages were entirely predictable. Started with authoritative commands. "This is enough drama. Call me back so we can resolve this situation like responsible adults." Shifted to guilt manipulation. "I don't know what we did wrong, but family members stick together through difficult problems." Ended with desperate bargaining. "Okay, you're obviously angry about something, I understand that. Let's talk about how to move forward." I carefully saved every single message as evidence for potential future use. Friday afternoon, Jessica actually showed up at my house unannounced. I watched through my front window as she paced frantically on my porch, calling my phone over and over while I could see her through the glass. She even tried knocking on my neighbor's doors, probably hoping someone would convince me to talk with her. I ordered pizza delivery and watched Netflix movies while she had her complete emotional breakdown on my front lawn. The weekend was suspiciously quiet, which made me nervous. I knew they were planning some kind of coordinated strategy. Monday morning brought an interesting call from my bank's fraud department. Jessica had attempted to reactivate one of the canceled credit cards using my social security number and old account information she'd apparently memorized. Their security system immediately flagged it as potential identity theft. "Would you like to file formal charges against this person?" the banker asked professionally. "Not yet," I said after considering the implications. "Just document everything thoroughly and prevent any future access attempts." Now I clearly understood their desperation level. Desperate enough to attempt actual fraud and identity theft. Tuesday brought full-scale emotional warfare. Mom appeared at my workplace during lunch hour. Building security couldn't allow her past the main lobby, but she convinced the security guard to call up to my office about a serious family emergency. I went downstairs to find her in complete victim mode. Puffy red eyes, trembling hands, the entire theatrical performance. "Honey, I honestly don't understand what's happening," she began with practiced vulnerability. "We're family. Families help each other through hard times and difficulties." "That's interesting," I said. "Where exactly was this helpful family when I was hospitalized?" "If we had known about the accident." "You didn't know because you don't pay attention to anything except what I can financially do for you." She immediately launched into classic guilt manipulation tactics. How hard they'd worked raising me, how proud they were of my professional success, how family was everything that mattered in life. Textbook emotional manipulation. "I'm proud of you too," I said calmly. "Now I'm proud to watch you learn financial independence and responsibility." I left her standing in the lobby and returned to work. That same afternoon, Jessica attempted social media manipulation. Posted a long Facebook status about dealing with severe mental health struggles and financial abuse from family members. Skillfully portrayed herself as the innocent victim of my unreasonable cruelty. The post quickly generated dozens of sympathetic comments from friends who didn't know the real story behind her lifestyle. People offering emotional support, sharing their own similar family experiences. Jessica absolutely fed off the attention and sympathy. But I had carefully saved screenshots of every spa photo, every expensive purchase, every luxury experience she'd funded with my money. Perfect insurance policy for later use. Wednesday brought predictable legal threats. Dad called and left a stern voicemail about consulting with an attorney regarding financial elder abuse and intentional infliction of emotional distress. I actually laughed out loud. They had absolutely zero legal standing, and everyone involved knew it. But desperation makes people threaten anything. Thursday evening got genuinely interesting. I came home from work to find Jessica sitting in her white Jeep in my driveway. When she spotted me, she immediately jumped out and started following me toward my front door. "We desperately need to talk," she demanded. "No, we really don't need to talk. I know you're mad about something, but this is completely insane. I could lose my apartment. You could get a legitimate full-time job. I have a job. I'm a professional influencer. 5,000 followers doesn't pay monthly rent." She immediately switched to crocodile tears and elaborate apologies, talking about how sorry she was, how she'd make everything right between us. But I noticed her constantly checking her phone, probably calculating when her next bills were due. "I'll pay you back absolutely everything," she promised desperately. "With interest." Using exactly what money? She had no coherent answer for that obvious question. I went inside my house and locked the door securely. She stood in my driveway for over an hour, making frantic phone calls and crying dramatically. Pure theatrical performance for any neighbors who might be watching. But I was just getting warmed up for the real revenge. Friday morning, I decided to deploy nuclear options. Years of managing their finances had given me extensive documentation of everything. Bank statements, credit reports, receipts, screenshots, transaction histories. Comprehensive evidence of exactly how they'd been living at my expense. I created a professional presentation using PowerPoint slides with detailed charts and graphs. Title slide: Financial Parasitism, a comprehensive 3-year analysis. Slide 1: Total money provided over 3 years. $118,000 in direct payments and support. Slide 2: Jessica's actual income versus spending patterns. She'd earned maybe $15,000 from her influencer career, while spending $38,000 annually on lifestyle expenses. Slide 3: Detailed luxury purchases breakdown. Spa treatments, designer workout clothes, expensive restaurant meals, vacation costs, premium services. Slide 4: Group chat screenshots during my hospital stay. All the spa photos with precise timestamps proving the exact dates. Slide 5: Their current financial status without my support. Jessica: negative $723 in checking account, $11,000 in accumulated credit card debt. Mom: $280 in total savings, 3 overdue bills. Dad: exactly 1 missed payment away from truck repossession. Financial data doesn't lie or manipulate emotions. I didn't send this presentation directly to them. Instead, I strategically shared it with my cousin Tyler, who'd always been the family information distribution center. Told him I wanted him to understand the real reasons why I'd completely cut contact. Tyler being Tyler, he immediately shared it with his mother, who shared it with her sister, who shared it with their weekly book club. Within exactly 48 hours, half my extended family knew the complete truth about the situation. Saturday night brought absolutely furious phone calls from Jessica and Mom. Word had obviously reached them about my lies and manipulations. "How dare you share our private family business?" Mom screamed into my voicemail. "Family problems are supposed to stay within the family. You're completely destroying my reputation," Jessica sobbed dramatically. "People are looking at me like I'm some kind of gold digger." The irony was absolutely beautiful. They were furious about me telling the complete truth. Sunday afternoon, Dad called threatening to bring the whole extended family to my house for an intervention about my obvious mental breakdown. That's when I decided to take complete control of the narrative. I posted my own Facebook status. Simple, factual, and devastating. Public service announcement for anyone wondering about recent family drama. I stopped providing financial support after spending 3 days hospitalized following a serious car accident, while my sister posted spa photos paid for with my credit card. $118,000 over 3 years. Zero appreciation. Zero concern when I needed help. Sometimes loving people means loving them from a safe distance. Attached: clear photo of my hospital identification bracelet and screenshots of Jessica's spa posts with matching timestamps. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Friends who'd wondered how Jessica could afford her lifestyle suddenly understood completely. Coworkers who'd heard me casually mention helping family finally realized the massive scope. Extended family members who'd been fed lies started asking serious questions. Jessica's phone probably exploded with messages. Her carefully curated influencer image crumbled instantly when people realized she was a 25-year-old woman whose brother paid all her bills. But the real consequences were just beginning to unfold. 2 weeks after my Facebook revelation, the dominoes fell spectacularly and systematically. Jessica's landlord posted official eviction notices on her apartment door. She'd been dodging calls and making empty promises she couldn't possibly keep. The white Jeep got repossessed directly from her apartment complex parking lot after 3 consecutive missed payments. Her phone service died completely from non-payment. Mom and Dad's financial situation deteriorated rapidly. Without my consistent monthly contributions, they couldn't maintain their basic bills. Dad's beloved truck got repossessed from their driveway. Mom's credit cards got suspended for missed payments. They had to move in with my aunt temporarily, which was humiliating for people their age. But here's where the situation gets absolutely satisfying. Jessica started desperately selling everything on Facebook Marketplace. Designer workout clothes, expensive shoes, jewelry, electronics, cosmetics, all the material possessions she'd accumulated with my money over the years. Watching her systematically liquidate her fake lifestyle piece by piece was incredibly therapeutic. She also launched a GoFundMe campaign titled, "Help Me Recover from Family Betrayal." Managed to raise about $150 before people started asking uncomfortable questions in the comments section. Someone had shared my original Facebook post, and potential donors weren't particularly sympathetic to a grown woman who'd been living off her brother's income. Meanwhile, my personal life improved dramatically overnight. Without $3,300 monthly going to support their bills, I suddenly had substantial disposable income, paid off my house mortgage early, started maxing out my retirement accounts, even took an incredible fishing trip to Alaska, first real vacation I'd had in years, posted amazing photos from the Alaskan mountains with the caption, "Funny how much you can afford when you only pay your own expenses." The extended family drama provided ongoing entertainment. Once word spread about the real situation, other relatives started sharing their own stories about Jessica's systematic manipulation. My cousin mentioned lending Jessica $400 that never got repaid. My uncle remembered paying for Jessica's groceries multiple times. My aunt had been sending emergency money for months. Jessica had been working the entire family tree like a professional con artist, not just targeting me. But I was clearly the biggest fish, so I received the most attention and manipulation. 3 weeks after the complete financial cutoff, I received the first genuinely sincere apology. Dad called, actually sounding remorseful and honest. "Son, I messed up badly. We all did. I see that clearly now. A bit late for these realizations, don't you think? I know we don't deserve it, but we're still family. There has to be some way to repair this relationship." "Real family," I said, "would have visited me in the hospital." Very long pause. Then, "What would it take to fix this relationship?" I'd been waiting patiently for this exact question. Complete financial accounting of every single dollar I provided over 3 years. Written apologies acknowledging exactly what you did wrong. Jessica gets full-time employment and starts repaying me $400 monthly. Mom attends professional financial counseling. You sell that expensive truck and buy something you can actually afford? That's quite substantial. That's a small fraction of what you took from me. He promised to seriously consider everything. I told him not to bother unless he was completely committed. 1 week later, Jessica sent me a 3-page email. Lengthy apologies, promises to change completely, detailed explanations about her mental health struggles. But buried in all the emotional manipulation was exactly what I'd been waiting for. "I'll do absolutely whatever it takes to make this right. Please tell me what you need from me." So I told her everything. Detailed payment plan. $400 monthly for the next 15 years with calculated interest. Public Facebook apology admitting her complete financial dependence. Total transparency about income and expenses to verify legitimate employment. And, I added, you move back in with Mom and Dad immediately. No more Scottsdale apartment. No more luxury lifestyle. You want to rebuild your life? You start from absolute zero like everyone else. She agreed to absolutely everything without hesitation. Desperation is an incredibly powerful motivator. 4 months later, they're all struggling significantly, but slowly paying me back religiously. Jessica works as a server at a chain restaurant and stock shelves at a department store. Lives in Mom and Dad's spare bedroom like a teenager. Takes public transportation everywhere because she can't afford a car. Mom completed financial counseling and actually thanked me for teaching her real money management skills. Dad drives a used Honda sedan and admits he should have listened to me years ago. The monthly payments aren't really about recovering the money anymore. I make good income. I don't desperately need their $400. It's about them remembering every single month what it costs to take advantage of family trust. It's about consequences having real staying power. Honestly, our relationship is healthier now than it's been in years. Funny how much more genuine respect you get when you stop being a doormat and start setting firm boundaries. I still keep that hospital identification bracelet on my desk at work. Daily reminder that sometimes you have to let people hit rock bottom before they'll change. Sometimes you have to burn bridges to stop people from walking all over you. The best part? Jessica's social media following dropped to under 2,000 followers. Turns out when you can't afford luxury lifestyle content, people lose interest incredibly fast. Reality hit her harder than my truck accident hit me, and her recovery is taking much longer. Sometimes the most effective revenge is simply stopping the enabling and watching people face the natural consequences of their choices. 6 months ago, they thought I'd always be their financial safety net. Now they understand exactly what life costs when you actually have to pay for it yourself. Best life lesson I ever taught them, and the most important boundary I ever established for myself.